All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything. We have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Merry Christmas to everybody. I didn't really obviously get a chance to bring up Christmas in the last episode because that was a pre-recorded, obviously, they all are, episode with the Creature, and we talked mostly Yankees. And not Christmas stuff. But hope everybody had a great Christmas. Mine was very solid. Christmas Eve here in the motherland at my parents' house, and Christmas Day at my sister's house. Had a nice time all around. Good gifts, good food. It was an enjoyable holiday. So I hope everybody had that as well, because that's what you want. That's what you want out of your holiday. That's what you want out of Christmas. You want an enjoyable, memorable holiday. No fighting, no BSing about politics, no malarkey, just good old clean-cut family fun, and Santa Claus, the big man upstairs, coming to town. So if you're watching in YouTube land, obviously I'm not at the LPDS compound. I made it to New Jersey. We'll talk about that in the Junction. I got a funny story I got to get your take on in the Junction here. So we'll get into that then. But I am in Jersey. As you can also see by the setting here in YouTube land. Randy, stop licking. The dungeon has been completely renovated and is now done. Okay? Last year it was the bathroom, and we also ripped the metal airplane hangar decor off the walls. But Crazy Carol got the whole rest of the thing redone, painted, the ceiling fixed, new lighting, so there's no the old fluorescent lights that were buzzing that I had to actually keep off during episodes. They're gone. There's actual floors. If you can see in the back here in YouTube land, they put real floor in there. I got a new command center in the back. Randy's currently sitting on the new chair that we got there. Everything's new. It looks great. Still cold down here. It's a little bit warmer. I also keep it a little colder to save some money. So that's why I'm wearing my standard LPDS winter cap from JPL2, Rest in Power. I love the look. It's a room now. It's a whole facility. It is no longer a dungeon in looks. But I gotta be honest with you guys. Now, I know, real quick caveat, my parents didn't do this for me. This is not one of those where, like, we fix this up for you so you can have an enjoyable time down here. How can you be so ungrateful? It's not that at all. It was a basement that they needed to turn into a functioning room and facility. So it had to be done. I am grateful that they did it because it provides a nicer setting for me, because I'm down here for work all day. I'm down here for work, and when I do sticks, I'm at the command center to do sticks, all down here in the dungeon. But I kind of hate it. And not in the way where it's like, I refuse to work, I can't believe they did this, this is ridiculous, they're going to regret this forever. All I'm saying is that if you know anything about me, you know I'm a trench guy. Okay? And there's nothing a trench guy likes better than being and existing and flourishing in a dungeon. Okay? And this is not a dungeon anymore. This is just a nice facility, a nice room. It could be a studio apartment. If we clean out the wine cellar in the back, that can be a bedroom. That's back next to the bathroom back there. That can be a bedroom. There is a fully redone bathroom with a shower that I use, a laundry room down here. The only thing missing is a kitchen. That's it. Otherwise, it's a fully livable space, and it's tremendous. But it's not a dungeon. Okay? The whole ceiling is intact. There's no rafters anymore. There's no Spideys hanging around at the top of the ceiling and the rafters saying hello to me anymore. There's no rat daddies, there's no mice crawling around itching to get in and stay warm here in the dungeon anymore. They're gone. Randy has no friends to chase around and eat anymore. Those are long gone. No more rodents. There's no more purple walls and airplane hangar like we're preparing for nuclear fallout. Okay? There's nothing inviting for dungeon type clientele. No trolls, no creatures, no ogres, no little Weasel Steel or Cobblepot Davids can come in anymore with their hooves and their hunchbacks and their short little fat bodies. That's all gone. The dungeon is no more. And I can't stop calling. I still call it the dungeon because that's what it was. And in my heart, it'll always be a dungeon. It's where I thrived. And when Spearhead blows up and you see me out there on TV giving interviews and being rich and famous, and everybody's gonna, look and be like, wow, this guy he's got it all, this and that. We're always gonna remember here at the LPDS universe that it started in a dungeon. It literally started in a dungeon. I started the thinking of the idea of Spearhead when I was living here, trying to find a place to actually live, like a house and all that stuff. That was when the first thought was, can I start my own thing? How can I start my own thing? And a few months later, that's when I made it official with an LLC, and I got the idea, I refined it, and I started it out. But the idea was all here in the dungeon. Okay, caves, ogres, rodents, chains on the wall to hang prisoners. This is where it all started down here. And now it's just a room. There's still some tchotchkes in the background you can see that kind of were still there, relics, artifacts, if you will, as my parents continue to clean up and get rid of some of the crap around here. But it's a bittersweet moment because this is a great space and I love it. But there will always be a special place in my heart for the original dungeon. The dusty, cobwebby, cold, nasty dungeon. But we learn, grow, and improve. We move on to bigger and better things like this tremendous facility that was built. And I don't know if you can see it here where my backpack is in YouTube land. This is my dad's little exercise bike, and the Bowflex is behind the camera, still there. So we still got stuff, still got the good stuff here. You can see Randy in the background enjoying the new chair. Lay down, Randy. You got it. You're good, buddy. No licking. Anyway, moving on. I got a hotline call. Gonna play a hotline call real quick, and then we'll keep going. But I got a hotline call. I believe it's regarding the last episode, the episode with Creature. Phenomenal episode. If you haven't checked that out, go back and check out that episode, especially if you're a sports and baseball fan. Wildly impressive insight from the Creature on the behind the scenes things that the businessmen and women of baseball should be paying attention to, and really where the Yankees are failing at that. But he provided a lot of educational pieces on that. Again, if you like baseball, specifically in sports, it was incredibly entertaining and educational for me to hear more about the ins and outs, and not just coming from a crazy fan, an angry fan like me, but somebody who studies this and has insights to try to understand why our team stinks the way they do. So go check it out. I got nothing but positive feedback from the Creature. I really got to get him on more often. He really has to do the bullpen GM has to come back. he could take that thing to the moon because you see people, we talked about this on the episode a little bit, but you see people doing stuff like that. And the space is very, very saturated with people giving, baseball podcasts, insights, stuff like that. But he can really separate himself because he can do it in a way that educates and entertains, and he's not contractually obligated to anybody. And as these guys get bigger and popular, they sign these contracts with organizations, the MLB, teams, what have you, and then the entertainment and the authenticity sort of kind of goes to die. Because then they have to be sort of on their best behavior. They can't be shit talking or trashing or being critical of decisions or moves because daddy will take away their paychecks. And the creature is certainly not tied to that, so hopefully he does that. Anyway, I'm blabbering on. Let's get into the hotline, and then we'll keep things moving. So stand by 1 second here.
Hey, Johnny, Tony Saccone. I just got finished watching the podcast with you and Creature. You made my heart feel better, more energetic, and more enthusiastic about the show. I think you guys complement each other. There's no doubt in my mind that you guys should have more videos together to bring in more people to listen to the podcast. You two guys are great men. You're more mature than your time by your ages. And I think that by doing so, you could better yourself and the business and everything else. Please tell Creature that I'm so happy that every time I see him, he's always complimenting me, and I've never even met him. Tell him I appreciate so much his enthusiasm, and he's a good guy. And what else? Let me see. What else was I wanted to say? Okay, continue on the path of righteousness and do the right thing. You guys are all right. And please tell Mom, Dad, and the family, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Keep the momentum going. Never give up. You keep plugging, and everything will be all right. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'd love to hear you more with Creature, and hopefully, maybe next week you'll have Dad on, and we'll have some good conversation. You'll have some good conversation with him in reference to the holidays and how everything is going in life in general. Take care of yourself. Have a good day, and the best of luck. Take care, Johnny. Have a good day. Bye-bye now.
All right, great call. Thank you for that. I love when Tony calls in. Nothing but positive support and accolades, so I appreciate that. He's a great hype man. Tony, I hope you had a good Christmas with your family. Thank you for calling in. Creature's definitely listening to this, so he appreciates your kind words as well. So thank you for that. I'd love to get the old man on here one of these days. I don't know when that can happen. We got to figure out a time if he even wants to do it. Who the heck knows if he wants to do something like that? But it would be nice to get JPL3 on here to talk shop. If we do decide to do it, I'll be sure to poll the audience ahead of time to see what kind of questions you want answered from him, what kind of stories you may want to hear about from his side of the aisle on things. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I never want to pressure people to be on the show, and I don't know for sure if my parents would ever consider coming on here. I don't know. I never really asked though, so that's really on me. But we'll ask one day. See if my old man will be on. Anyway, thanks for that call. Moving on, because I'm very bad. I continue to be very bad at forward thinking about the holidays that are coming up while I'm recording. So I knew I was recording the episode with Creature to be posted during the Christmas week. We should have brought up Christmas. Completely forgot about it. But next by the time this posts, it'll be New Year's week. And this is just a message to everybody. Again, I'm not doing a whole episode on it anymore. This is just a reminder that don't fall into the BS that you see with people with the New Year, new me crowd. I'm already seeing videos of people posting the drama of, 2025 was a tough year. It tested me and I battled, and 2026 is going to be the year for me. Listen, some of that may be true for some people, but when you see it from everybody every year on social media, every year the year tests you. It battled and it fought, and I came out the victor. I survived. The next year is going to be. Look, I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to tell people to shut up necessarily, even though I do want to tell them to shut up necessarily. A little leadership tip for you, okay? If you go back in time over the last few years and you find yourself, you go back to the videos you post, if you're a poster like this, and you see that every New Year's week post and story update that you've made over the past few years sounds the same as the year before, the common denominator is probably you. Okay? And the leadership tip is to take that deep breath, take it a little LPDS step back, put your hand up and take ownership of that and be like, hey, this likely is my doing. Okay? If every year is a battle and a test and a fight and suffering and dealing with problems and issues and all this and that, at some point, you have to take that introspective look and realize you are likely a contributing factor to the repeated outcomes and situations you find yourself in. And a hand up on my end, I've done that before. Okay? I have done the mental gymnastics where things happen. I'm not saying uncontrollable things won't happen if you take ownership of stuff. I'm not saying that at all. Uncontrollable stuff happens all the time. Things happen to us and around us all the time. But if it's a constant drama and a constant fight and a constant struggle, it's likely the way you're responding or emotionally reacting that's creating that struggle, that constant struggle and constant drama and constant fighting. Okay? That doesn't have to be that way. I actually had this conversation with my nephew over Christmas Eve or whatever. He was getting mad at Crazy Carol because she had a couple glasses of wine and she was getting a little loud, and he didn't like the loudness because he's a kid and only he's allowed to be loud. That's what kids do. And he was crying and whining about it. And I said to him, listen, we can't control what happens around us. We can't control if grandma is loud. We can't control if mom or dad are loud or angry or something happens around us. All we can control is how we respond to it. Now, we can choose to respond to it by taking ownership of our response and leading through it. I didn't say it in this way because he's a kid. Or we can let our emotions dictate how we react. Okay? And then I said, hey, do you think that you whining and crying is going to make the situation better? Or is there maybe another way? What can we do to actually make the situation better? What is in our control that we can do something to make things a little bit better for ourselves around all these uncontrollables? And that's basically what I'm asking everybody to do this New Year's. Maybe instead of posting again the same crap as everybody else, before you hit post, maybe take that introspective look and think about what you can do to change in the new year. and not just hope that the uncontrollables around you change. Because hope is not a good course of action. It's really not. I say it all the time on Spearhead. It's not. Okay? So don't get bogged down by the noise of social media with all the dramatic bullshit and the New Year, New Me crowd and all that crap. Okay? You take action within yourself first, and then you take the steps to lead through the uncontrollables. And that's the best advice I can give you to have a better year next year is focus on how you respond and lead through these uncontrollable things that occur around you. And don't just expect the social media universe, because you put out a dramatic video with cool music and a sweet little filter and editing and a little video compilation, that's going to make things better for you next year. Okay? Social media is fake. It's made up. We curate it. The stuff I put out there, the stuff I want to put out there. Okay? Same with everybody else. It's what they want you to see. So don't just sit there and believe, oh, it's drama and struggle and blah, blah, blah. Take control of yourself and your actions, and then you're going to have a better year. That's how you have a better year. So, Happy New Year. Don't forget, actually, speaking of New Year, to go to my Facebook and check out Profile Pick 2026. Hand up again, as of right now, 26th December, I got nothing for it. I'm figuring it out on the fly. So it'll be game time decision whenever it posts. It could be crap, could be good. What did that Italian, was he a soccer player, a soccer coach said? Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. So could be good, could be shit. We'll find out on January 1st. So go check that out. All right. I think that's all I got to say about that. There's nothing really else going on in the world that I want to talk about. And if there was, I forgot about it. So with that, let's get into the good stuff. Let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by the Parent Pulse. Do you have older parents who spend a lot of time passing out on a couch or a chair, and sometimes you don't know if they're actually still alive, but you don't want to yell to wake them up because you might give them a heart attack and actually kill them? Then get yourself a Parent Pulse today. Parent Pulse is a Tony Rigatoni approved device that will provide you alerts on your parents' pulse and heart rate when they are passed out, so you don't have to worry about making funeral arrangements for no reason. Simply slap the device on the chest, and the Parent Pulse will send you updates right to your cell phone every 15 minutes. So to get your Parent Pulse today, head on over to your local CVS geriatric aisle, and if you use the promo code OUTCOLD, you get 29% off your first Parent Pulse. There's a story behind this, which we will get to in the Junction, and I will kindly request your input and feedback on this said story when we get to it. But the cage fact. So the first mini teaser trailer for the Madden movie came out. Amazon Prime Video posted the trailer recently, and the movie is set to release Thanksgiving of 2026. And for some reason, I think it's mostly NFL fans, because they stink, were all up in arms about the trailer, saying Nic Cage was a terrible pick for Madden. He doesn't even look like Madden. He just looks like a fat guy with a wig on. And it's going to be who picked him. And I'm not going to watch the movie now. And Madden deserves better than this. And all this absolute malarkey. And I want to just say a couple things on this. First and foremost, They announced Nic Cage was playing this role months ago. And we talked about it here on the show months ago. And leave it to the stupid, idiot, mush brain NFL fans to act like this is the first time they're seeing this. Not to mention, they posted photos of him in costume months ago. And there was not this backlash. That's just because NFL fans are morons. And I know this because I'm an NFL fan. I know the moronhood that goes with being an NFL fan. I'm one of them. I'm not trying to sound better than anybody else in the NFL fandom world. I'm just telling it like it is. We're stupid. We're idiots. Clearly. Look how many of us follow teams and are loyal to teams who continue to stink year in and year out. From a business perspective, that's a recipe for disaster. If your team stinks for more than 2 years in a row, you move on to a better team. You're trying to win. But not us NFL fans because we're morons. And clearly, the moron fans forgot all about this stuff when it was officially announced months ago. So this is just a reminder to all my fellow morons out there that this was already announced and in the works. Okay? Second of all, how many movies did guys like Mark Wahlberg and other famous actors, I think in Mark Wahlberg specifically, have played characters of real life people in movies that looked nothing like the characters? Nothing. And nobody said a damn word. The movie Event Horizon about the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, whatever it's called now. Mark Wahlberg played the guy who tried to warn everybody. This is a real life story. Okay, Mark Wahlberg, what is he, 5'5", 5'6", I don't know. Six-pack, jacked guy, good-looking fella. The guy in real life, I think he looked like a slightly skinnier Wilford Brimley type of guy. Not one word. He wasn't even in the same ballpark as the guy, the real-life oil rig guy. Not even in the same ballpark. Lone Survivor. Mark Wahlberg played Marcus Luttrell, the Navy SEAL who survived the battle on the mountains there against the terrorists and lived to tell the tale. He was captured, saved, all that stuff. Once again, Mark Wahlberg, 5'5", 5'6", I don't know. I don't want to, height shame him. But he's a little guy. Marcus Luttrell is like 6'4". He was actually in the movie. Marcus Luttrell was in the movie. He played some random character when they're sitting outside eating lunch or whatever in the beginning of the movie on the bench. And they're talking about the race between Murphy and the other guy. And then they're talking to the rookie guy and all this other stuff. Marcus Luttrell is there. He plays another guy. He plays a giant Navy SEAL random character because he's a giant of a guy. Played by Mark Wahlberg, a tiny little fella. Just a little guy. Not even close to... If you looked at Marcus Luttrell in real life, you look and be like, what the hell is this? He didn't even put makeup on or nothing to look like him. Wahlberg doesn't ever do that. He just plays Wahlberg with a different name. That's it. Nic Cage put on a fat suit and a wig and changed his voice and put on the little turkey neck and everything. And you guys are up in arms like it's a travesty. And third of all, most importantly, you have the greatest actor to ever do it. The great one, the best to ever do it in the business right now alive. Playing your beloved John Madden. Who else do you want to play John Madden but the best? I hate to break it to you, but there's nobody in the world that looks like John Madden besides John Madden. And he's dead. Rest in power, JM. He's gone. There's nobody else. There's nobody that remotely looks like him. Now, we could have had Mark Wahlberg play him, and it would have just been Mark Wahlberg. Little guy, young little guy. Hey, I'm John Madden. Say hi to your mother for me. That's what you would have gotten. And I guarantee you nobody would have said shit because nobody ever says shit when Mark Wahlberg plays another character for some reason. And I don't dislike Wahlberg, but the double standard here is crazy. You have the best to ever do it is playing the most beloved NFL guy in history of NFL, John Madden. Who else do you want to play that part? What other actor do you want to play that part besides the best to ever do it? So do me a favor to all the moron fans out there that are mad because you forgot. Do me a favor and kindly shut up. Okay? Because you know the movie's going to be great. It's Nic Cage and Christian Bale. Christian Bale might be the only other guy who could play a John Madden type, and that's only because Christian Bale's skill set, what makes him the best, is that he changes himself to the character he's playing. He gains weight, he loses weight, he gets ripped, he gets skinny, he gets fat, he gets short, he gets angry. He's the guy, and he's playing Al Davis. And so he's already immersed, he's already Al Davis. He can't play both parts, unfortunately, for you moron fans out there that are complaining. So you have the two best, you have the best in the world at playing other characters, at becoming the real human that they're playing in the biopic or however you pronounce it. Look at what he did with Cheney. He was Dick Cheney. Okay, so you have the best already in the movie, and then you have the best to ever do it in anything else as John Madden. What are you bitching about? How good is your life? And how moronic are you that you're bitching about this? That's the two questions you should be asking yourself. How good is my life? Must be so good that I have nothing else to complain about except for this. And I must be so stupid and moronic that I'm complaining about this. So do us all a favor. Kindly shut up, and come Thanksgiving of 2026, make sure you remember to put your hand up and say, I was wrong, because this movie was phenomenal, and the Great One, as usual, absolutely annihilated the role. Okay? Because we're coming back in Thanksgiving of 2026 for the big I told you so. That's all I got to say about that. That's the Cage fact for you. You're welcome. All right, moving over to the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. JPL3 and I had the road trip with Randy. Overall, solid road trip. Okay? A lot of interesting things happened that would not have happened if I was solo. Good and bad. When I say bad, I mean more so funny and humorous. Nothing really bad. The only scary part was Saturday morning when I was packing the car. The neighbor's dog was outside. Little shit dog. Old dog. I don't have a problem when he's actually a well-trained dog. And that's the biggest problem I have with those little shit dogs, those rat dogs, is that people never train them because they think, oh, it's a little dog. And I said this a billion times before. It's a little dog. I could just pick it up, and if it's getting out of control. And that's not a way. That's not how you train a dog. Get rid of the dog. Don't have a dog if you can't train your dog. So this dog is actually pretty well trained. He listens to his owner. He hangs around my yard when I'm outside and the neighbor's outside doing yard work. And he's so he was naturally over in the driveway snooping around, seeing what I was doing, packing the car. And he's sort of in the garage at this point. Now, JPL3 opens the door to go inside the kitchen from the garage. Randy sees his pal outside, right past JPL, like like Saquon Barkley past any defenseman, just right past JPL3. And he starts chasing this little dog. And I thought, oh, Randy is going to kill this dog. And it's going to be a real problem that we have to deal with right before we take off on the road for 2 12-hour days. That's not the way you want to start a trip. But luckily, the dog's training kicked in. The little dog's training kicked in. He went right back to his owner. And Randy's training kicked in. And he stopped and just sniffed the dog. Remembered it was his pal. He's seen him around for years in the backyard through the fence. He went back. They sniffed butts. And Randy came back to the house. And he was good to go. I think what happened was Randy thought he just saw a random animal in the garage. And that's what he does. He goes after. And that's something I need to work on to get him better at that. And we continue to work on that. Unfortunately, it's tough to replicate that in simulated situations because there's not a lot of random animals around that we can train to not chase all the time. So I have a difficult time finding creative ways to train that out of them. So that's on me. But the training we have done in the past, kicked in, and everything was fine and dandy. We had a good laugh about it. Everything was okay. And we were able to finish packing the car and get on the road. Everything else was basically fine. Good conversations all around. A lot of napping from JPL3. And this is where things get a little funny. Definitely funny for me. And I think JPL can laugh about it now. But he was a little annoyed at my mindset throughout this situation. So let me lay this out for you guys, because this is what I want. I want you to hear what happened, and I want to get your take on what my thought process was, and if it was a good thought process or if it was unfair and disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Now we're on day 1 of the trip. All right? We took 2 days. We stop in Chattanooga after day 1, spend the night there, hotel right off the highway, same hotel I go to every time because they're dog friendly. And then day 2 is another 12-hour drive, okay? Now, we dealt with a lot of traffic and construction and crap going on day 1, so it slowed us down, and we weren't going to get into the hotel until like 2 in the morning, especially since we crossed over to Eastern time zone in Tennessee, and it added that extra hour on. So we're late in the night. We're about 3 hours from the hotel. We're stopping for food. Got to feed Randy. Got to grab food for ourselves. Now, my old man says, hey, I'm going to order some food, but I'm not going to eat it now. I'm probably going to wait till I get to the hotel because I feel a dumpy coming on. And I'm good right now, but if I eat this food, I'm definitely going to have a dumpy coming on, and we're going to have to stop. And we don't necessarily know where the next like safe big rest stop is going to be for us to do dumpy stuff. So better safe than sorry. Maybe eat after. Now here's the problem with that. As soon as you acknowledge that feeling you get in your stomach when a dumpy is even in the very, very early beginning stages of forming and getting ready to blow, that automatically starts the clock. Now time's a ticking. Okay? It's the same thing when you have to do pee. As soon as you actively think, oh, do I have to pee right now? The clock has started. And it's only a matter of time before that time bomb goes off. Okay? So now we're on a race to this hotel, or to find a big enough gas station to where we can stop and it's safe around and it's clean, like a Bucko's or a Big Love's, one of the standard ones that I go with Sheets, even though there's no Sheets down where we are south of the Mason-Dixon line. So we were looking, I had my eye out for that. But I also knew that once it was mentioned out loud, the body knows it's accelerating the process, excuse me. So we stop for food, we get McDonald's. And of course. Now, when I get fast food on the road, it's got to be simple. I'll maybe get like the 2 burger meal, just the burgers, because I can slide those down pretty quickly, and some nuggets, and no fries, nothing, not even a Big Mac, because that's a two-hander and there's lettuce flying everywhere. It has to be something that I can eat on the road and simple. Most of the time I just go nuggets, because even though it's not real chicken, it's there could be worse. But there's certain things I'm not getting. Like, I'm not going to get a bowl of chili from Wendy's on the road. Okay? I'm not going to get a chicken salad sandwich from Arby's on the road. I'm not going to get the French dip from Arby's. And stuff like that, you're just not going to get on a road trip. Okay? Now, let's rewind a little bit, because I forgot to mention this earlier, but this is a little bit important to my mindset coming up here. Earlier in the morning, we stopped at a Buc-ee's, my father calls it Bucko's, in Texas, to fuel up and get, refill on coffee and get some breakfast, like a late breakfast. And we got some breakfast burritos, breakfast tacos, whatever they had. And he has a breakfast burrito, and he gets the salsa that they have. Now, they don't put it in the packets. They have little containers, like little plastic ramekins, they're called in the restaurant world. And he goes to put some salsa on his burrito, and I don't know what he does, because I wasn't looking. I was taking the dog out, and he spills it everywhere in the passenger seat. Now, we're not driving. We're in the parking lot still of the Bucco's. And it looked like he threw the salsa at the dashboard. That's what it looked like. Because it was all over the front dash by him. It was on his neck pillow. It was all down his shirt. It was on the door handle, on the window, and down into the fibers of the carpet underneath the WeatherTech floor mats that I had. Because when he got in to sit down in the car initially, they slid up, and there was a space between the floor mats and the actual floor that I'm trying to protect with these WeatherTechs. So it's everywhere. So I'm using basically all the paper towels I have left to help clean this up, to get back on the road and clean, so that the place isn't stinking up like stale salsa, and he's not sitting in salsa, and it's all clean, and so we do that, we get that clean, and we move on. Now, fast forward back to where we are, McDonald's. I get like a double cheeseburger and nuggets. My old man decides to get the filet of fish, because he loved a good filet of fish back in the day, and that's what he started craving at like 11 p.m., 12 p.m., 12 a.m. on a road trip, when he already acknowledged that a dumpy's brewing. And he's getting a fast food fish sandwich. Now, I love a filet of fish as well. And I'm not here to argue that it's real fish or fake fish. I don't care. I get it. I like a good filet of fish, but not on a road trip. Not when I don't have the guarantee of a clean bathroom situation. As much as I'm open to taking dumpies everywhere, as we already know from my toilet over under, I prefer a clean toilet, obviously. Especially at nighttime, I don't want a shady toilet situation. So I'm not getting a filet of fish at midnight. Well, he gets it. And that whole thing about not eating until we're back at the hotel, that was gone. That filet of fish went down his gullet before I even got back in the car, after I took the dog out to take a dumpy after his meal. So now he's got filet of fish brewing inside his stomach with all the other stuff that was going on throughout the day that we ate. All right? So we're back on the road. Okay? Fast forward to about 30, 40 minutes outside the hotel. Now we're in a little bit of a city environment. There's civilization. It's not just highway and shady gas stations. There's buildings and storefronts and car dealerships and stuff outside the highway where we can see. We're in civilization. We're in the home stretch for night one. Okay? And I start smelling something very distinct. All right? It smelled like three things, excuse me. It smelled very much like steamed broccoli when my mom puts broccoli in this. She has this old plastic Tupperware microwave steamer that she's had since the 80s. When people were having Tupperware parties, that was a big thing back then. Tupperware and longer burger parties. That's how old this thing is. And that's how she steams the broccoli before she puts it on like a frying pan or does whatever else she does with it. She steams it first in the microwave, and the whole house smells like hot, steaming, nasty broccoli. The second thing it smelled like, the second thing I thought was, this could be a paper mill. Because if anybody has ever smelled a paper mill or been in a town that has a paper mill in it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And for everybody who I played ball with at Embry-Riddle, go to Idaho for the World Series, the NAIA World Series, and you know exactly what I'm talking about because they had a paper mill outside there. And the whole place stunk whenever they were running that mill. Okay? Then the third thing popped up. Now, mind you, we're 1 o'clock in the morning. We've been on the road for 14 hours at this point with all the traffic and stops and issues that we had to deal with. And I'm tired. Okay? And I'm weary and I'm just ready to be done and off the road and in bed. So I start thinking, this old man told me he had to take a dump a couple hours ago. And I look over at him, and he's out cold. And when I say out cold, I don't mean snoring or just dozing. I mean slouched in his chair like this. If you're looking at YouTube land, slouched in his chair, hands just dangling off his legs. And his head is down, angled down, like when you get shot and your head's just down like this if you're looking at YouTube land. And it's tilted. And it's a position that's only comfortable for dead people. Okay? Because anybody who's ever tried to take a nap or fallen asleep on an airplane and your head goes down like this, it crushes your neck, it gives you a headache, it's brutally uncomfortable. Nobody sleeps like that. And it's dark out, so now I can't even tell if he's breathing. So what pops in my delirious, tired brain? This guy died and shit his pants. Now, what the hell am I going to do? So now I got a lot of things racing in my mind, okay? One, is he dead? I've seen him sleep like this countless times. I know this is how he sleeps, but I couldn't see the stomach moving up and down for breathing. That's usually a quick sign I can tell when we're at home and he's on his recliner. And the shit smell, the broccoli smell. All these things combined, I'm like, oh no. Okay? The other thing, which is where I wish I had a parent pulse, is I can only be so loud when I try to wake him up before it scares him to death. Because he's an alert waker-upper. Okay, if you're loud, if you're, hey, wake up, he jumps up like this. Oh, what's going on? Oh, something happened? What's the matter? That's what he does. And, he's getting older. And he had some heart issues in the past. So if I'm too loud and I startle him too much to wake up, there's a chance I create the situation I'm worried I'm currently in right now. That I wake him up so violently that he has a heart attack and dies right there. And now I'm exactly in the same position I was before. And I caused it this time. So I have to tread lightly with how I wake him up. Can't shake him too hard because that'll do the same thing because then he think we're in a car crash. So I just start making noises like Kramer when he's trying to get Joe DiMaggio's attention in the Dinky Donuts. And I'm just sitting there. I'm on the dash. I got my hand on the middle console. I'm just like, and I'm yelling, "Hey, oh, ah!" And I try to get Randy involved. Randy, come here. Look what I got for you, Randy. Hey, oh. Nothing. He's out cold. Randy's no help. Randy, at least when he wakes up and he comes to the front to investigate, he'll nose both of us, do a couple investigative sniffs, and that usually wakes him up. So I'm hoping, hey, Randy, come on, help me out here. We don't want him to die, and you can wake him up pretty effectively without him having a heart attack. So get in here and do your stuff. And Randy's like, I'm out cold, brother. It's 1:30 in the morning. I've been in the back seat all day. I'm tucked away, nice and warm in my bed. Don't bother me. And now I've exhausted basically every option that I could without risking certain heart attack and death. So now my mind immediately steps to, okay, how do I deal with this potential situation of death and shit pants? And I'm running through my options. Hey, Randy, I'm running through my options now. Do I pull over immediately, call the authorities, and try to tell them where to come find me to help deal with my dead old man, who's absolutely got dead man's shit in his pants? Because that's what happens. Your whole body, your muscles relax, the sphincter is no longer keeping it in, and it's going to be out, and it's going to be a mess. So do I pull over in the middle of nowhere? Because I don't know, like I see buildings, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know these places. I don't know addresses. I have to look it up. Again, at 1:30 in the morning, do I want to go and have people come at some random gas station and come pick up my old man? And then what do we do? Oh, ship him to New Jersey. Oh, also, by the way, I got this dog back here who's going to be super excited to see other humans, and he's going to be a real pain in the ass while you're trying to drag this shit body out of the car. And that's going to mean more shit's going to get into the car as you're trying to drag him out and fight off an excited Randy from sniffing and investigating. Or do I drive the other 30 minutes to the hotel, put Randy in the room, secure him in the room to get him out of there, and now I can call the authorities there, and I can wait on them there. I can have the address. I got the dog out of the way, and maybe I have some time to do some shit cleanup. Or do I just crush some coffee, maybe snort some coffee, find some drug peddler to get some Adderall or something, and just drive straight through home? Just drive back home to Jersey, and we deal with it as a family. Those are my options at 1:30 in the morning when my brain wasn't firing all cylinders, but now we're in combat here. So the brain had to kick into some sort of action steps. Now, if we drive home, there's no way I'm sitting with dead shit body in my car the whole way home. Eventually, Randy's going to wake up, he's going to wonder what that smell is, and he's going to want to investigate, and there's no way I can have a white dog with shit all over him because he's up there investigating it and trying to sniff out, and then I got this dead body with rigor mortis setting in. He's going to be stiff as a board with shit all over him. Now the shit is leaking down onto the seat, into the leather, down into the fibers of the carpet again, mixing with the stale salsa. And then what's going to happen with me? I'm going to throw up. That's what's going to happen with me on this drive. So I'm going to be puking. Now, guess what? I can't puke on my own lap because I got to drive. I got to maintain control of the aircraft here. And if I open the window to go throw up out the window on this drive, the wind is surely going to blow it back in to the house and back into the car, and it's going to be all over Randy in the back seat. Can't have that either. So what would I probably do? I'd probably take a quick puke on the dead body who's already shit-filled anyway. Because at least I know his clothes, his dead clothes will lap up that puke, and I already got the mess contained to that front passenger seat anyway, so fine, let's do that instead of getting Randy involved in the back seat and this and that. So it's going to be an absolute chaotic nightmare, and I can't have that. So if the decision was made to drive all the way, just drive straight through and not to get some weird Confederate Tennessee authorities involved in this situation, I'm driving home. He's got to go in the back at this point. Dead shit pants JPL3 would have to go in the back. I have a tarp. I tarp him up. He's going in the back of the pickup bed. He'll remain cool, so there's not going to be any body rot going on. I'll get a chance to clean out whatever was left of the crap inside the passenger seat as best I can, and we're back on the road for another 12 and just powering through to get home so that we can again handle this as a family. And the whole time, again, I'm delirious, I'm tired, I'm firing all cylinders. I'm thinking I have to take action that's going to make sure that I am taking care of business the best way for the family. Because this guy's dead, and he shit himself. And we got to get home to take care of the business of all the stuff you got to do when you got dead shit pants over here. You got to respect the dead. Okay, and this is my father after all, so you got to respect. So I'm thinking I got to do something for these reasons, for the family, to get home as quickly as possible, to not involve too many outsiders, to show that I actually care. I'm not just going to go sleep one off at the hotel and go in the hotel pool while I got dead body in some, in the hands of some Confederate authorities while they go ship them back to New Jersey. Like, while I'm thinking all about all this, Finally, I hit like a speed bump or a pothole or something in the road, and it shakes the old man awake. And then within, 15, 20 seconds of that, I see a sign for the paper mill. And it's all coming together now. It's all starting to, the weight is all falling off my shoulders. I'm putting the pieces together. He was just deep in sleep because it's late at night. This is a paper mill that's not shit pants, and everything's gonna be okay. We can go finish. We got 20 minutes left at this point. We can go to the hotel. And I tell him the story. I said, "Listen, old man, for a second there, I thought you were dead and shit your pants." He said, "You smell it outside?" He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "It smells like when your mom's making broccoli." I was like, "I know." I said, "It also smells like when somebody shits their pants and then dies." And he's like, "Well, what, he's like, "You thought that?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was thinking about what I was going to do and had this and that and all, and the mess and how to get your body back home and this. And he got all worked up about the fact that I was thinking about how to take care of a shit-filled body and cleaning the car out and getting home and not paying more respect to him, and not, I don't know if he wanted me to sit there and cry about it and tell him like, yeah, I was crying thinking about it. When I wasn't, I was thinking about what actions to take to get home so we can take care of, funeral and stuff. And I maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe he wanted me to have a little bit more sadness in my story and my thought process, as opposed to what I did think about and the actions I was considering taking. I don't know, but he was not happy, and he ended up laughing at me. He was like, this is what it comes down to. This is what you think of me when I die. This is what all you care about is the shit in your car. And I was like, that's not all I cared about at all. That was a big proponent, because I wouldn't be able to drive your ass home if this car reeked of human shit. But I was also thinking about how to get you back home to your final resting place the best way possible. I thought that was respectful. He did not agree. Again, maybe he thought I should have been crying the whole time and thinking about all the good times we had and saying, sorry, I wasn't a better son. I don't know what he wanted, but he was giving me shit for it when this entire time I was trying to figure out how to respect his shit-filled body. But we made it to the hotel. He was able to take a nice hotel dumpy. Everything was all copacetic. We had the shower right there so we can clean up after. No shit hit the vehicle, no shit hit pants, nothing. Everything was fine. And we were back on the road Sunday morning, and we made it back to New Jersey around, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Randy, go lay down, okay? We're almost done here, pal. So my question to you, now we had a good laugh. I told my family the story, everybody laughed about it. My question to you all is, was I disrespectful in my thought process and the actions I was prepared to take to get his dead shit-filled body home? Was that what should I have done differently? Now, mind you, before we hindsight this and Monday morning quarterback this, we have to remember this was 1:30 in the morning, hour 14 of a drive, driving all through the South in feeling, it was 85 degrees in Texas when we left, so we're sweating there, and now it's cold and 30 degrees up in Tennessee at night, driving all day on the road with the dog, eating shit food, not getting any good, anything in us. Taking dumps in gas stations, all that stuff. Tired, delirious, hungry, dirty, not thinking straight. Okay, remember that. Before we start throwing spears and saying what you would have done differently or better. Okay, all I ask is for a little bit of acknowledgement of the context of this in my thought process. Then you can tell me what could have been done better, what you agree with, this and that. I want to get your thoughts. Let me know if you would have thought any of the same things, or if there was something I completely missed that I should know about in the future. Maybe AAA deals with bodies. I'm a AAA member. I don't know. But let me know. My father was not happy with how I reacted to the possibility of him dying and shitting his pants in the car on the drive home with 750 miles left to go to get back to New Jersey. So let me know what you think. And that's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars of staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something each and every day to improve your fitness, health, and wellness physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person or a negative person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be shitty and negative for any reason, even if you think you're justified, even if you are justified, take a deep breath, take the LPDS step back, detach from those negative emotions, and remove yourself from the situation so that you're minimizing the negativity going on in the world around you, and you're allowing yourself now the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things in your life, like exercising. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you can do this each day by taking the time to actively think about at least one good thing in your life and what your life would be like without that thing. And by doing so, that puts you in a state of gratitude immediately. And the more often you're doing that, and the more often you're in that state of gratitude, the easier it'll be to not be a shitty person, to get out of those negative situations, which will in turn give you more time and capacity to go focus on positive, productive things in your life, like exercising. And if you do these three things a little bit each and every day, repetition, 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 I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. You guys like this new camera, by the way? If you're watching YouTube land, got a new webcam finally. I used it with the Creature. Big fan of it. I got a lot of ideas I want to use this camera for in the future for streaming and what have you. Anyway, thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Put your notifications on. Tell your friends and enemies. Hit that hotline. Thank you, Tony, for the hotline call. 202-670-1114. Let's get some more hotline calls. Call in what you think of the situation that could have been on the road trip. Call in on the hotline. Let me know your thoughts on that. If you have similar stories like that, similar funny stories that with your family or friends, let me know in the hotline. Again, 202-670-1114. Have a happy new year. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.